Solène, welcome to Podcastina.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited about this.
I'm so excited that you're joining me today. I would love to start with just the most basic of questions for anybody tuning into this. What's your working definition of manifestation?
It's a great question because I think it's only now that I finally have a better grasp of what manifestation is. But for me, it's all about reclaiming and reconnecting to your power as a creator or a co-creator of your life. I think, yeah, that's what it is.
Beautifully put, and so broad so that anyone can use their imagination and find something that's relevant to that. Now, how is it that you got into this? Like, are you willing to share a little bit of your history with manifestation and law of attraction work?
Yes, because I think that it's, I took another path to it. I grew up extremely logical. I'm a very logical girly. I'm a very logical Capricorn girly. They need to make sense. I need, proof, another proof, and I need to see the logic in it. And that's how I went through my early life. My entire life was very logic driven. But then in 2022 and 2023 were pretty horrendous and traumatic, life, years of my life for me. And I kept hearing about, you can transform your life. You can have a better life, blah, blah, blah. You can have the life of your dreams. And I decided, you know what? I need a better life. I actually need to transform my life. I cannot keep going. Life cannot keep going this way or things will get really bad. So it was kind of, I wouldn't say last resort, but I had to try something. And obviously what I was doing for years was not working. And I decided to put my Capricorn hand and be like, you know what? I'm going to prove you right or prove you wrong. So I decided to believe and trust people who were talking about manifestation and mindset and the fact that life flows from you and not to you. And I decided to go full in 2023, 2024, and 2025. So from very logical to extremely woo-woo, right? And now that I have, done the case study, I'm sorry to say that it does work. From someone who was very logical, all of that does work. They were correct. You can transform your life with your mindset. So yeah, I needed a transformation in my life, and I had to, reach for manifestation.
I'm glad that you put it that way because I'm a fellow person who kind of was raised to be very cerebral and questioning everything. And now that that's kind of been flipped on its head, I love to ask people like, how woo-woo are you? Because if you don't have a history with being woo-woo, it's kind of interesting to see like what the jump off point is from being so logical and needing things to make perfect sense on paper to then all of a sudden like open your heart up and be like, I'm going to believe in something greater than myself, a higher power. And then like, what has that done for you emotionally since you've opened yourself up to it?
I mean, it has changed everything. And it's so crazy to be on that side. When you're on that side and you end up sounding like the people that you used to listen. And I know how crazy it sounds, but it's really has changed my life, my spiritual and also physical life. So I grew up extremely, extremely logical. Everything needed to make sense. But at some point you do see when things don't work out, you see that there's resistance there. Like my quest for logic and for sense was not giving me result, basically. After decades of looking for sense and logic and 1 + 1 = 2, you see that it's not delivering you the result. So I decided to go 180 and to actually trust the words of someone else. People kept saying, across culture, across country, they keep saying that manifestation can change your life and your life flows from you and not to you. And there's power into changing your mindset if you want to change your life. And I thought, you know what? I have to try it. I have to try this because I have tried the very logical way and it does not work. So it has changed a lot. It was not easy because to let go of that need for explanation is very hard. You challenge everything, you question everything, but I think it is part of the path, right? It forces you to recognize your own pattern and be like, no, you still try to be in control. That's what I'm telling you. Stop trying to be in control. Stop trying to find for the answer and the why and the why and the why and the why. And it brings, and because you feel the difference, I feel the difference in terms of inner peace and fulfillment. I feel my mind being lighter. I see I see the result in my material life. So yeah, it has changed my life for the better, but it was not an easy route, but I'm really grateful that, yeah, I decided to trust in manifestation and mindset work.
What a great explanation. Something you said, and that really stuck out for me, which is the understanding that life is not happening to you, but for you. And that in and of itself is like a very helpful mantra, which we'll get into that later in the episode. But I have a friend who's very into this stuff, who one of her running things that she always says is, things are happening for me, not to me. And it really encompasses some of the broader ideas of this, which is like this letting go aspect, this trying to get in flow, this kind of concept that shows up in different religions and different spiritual teachings, that while the different literature might use different words to encompass these ideas, the ideas at the end of the day are kind of the same. And it's this idea of surrender, not having, as the Buddhists say, most suffering comes from resistance. It's these ideas of surrender to a higher power that, if nothing else, like literally, if all of this is complete BS and if none of this works, then that sole idea of just like the letting go and the surrender, for anyone who's done that, for anyone who's prayed and meditated and understands the physical relief of like surrender and letting something go and giving it to God or giving it to your higher power, like it just physically feels good at the end of the day.
You feel, I mean, you said it perfectly. You feel in your bone the moment where you actually, when you actually strong enough to surrender, and the space that it leaves and the peace that it leaves within you. And it's something that I have not experienced before, because I was so obsessed with everything having to make sense and really believing that if I want something done, I have to go after it. And if I don't do anything, nothing will come, because that's also another aspect of control, right? It's to believe that you always have to do, you always have to plan and to go after everything that you want, and not believing and trusting that things can come to you, that you can be a magnet to whatever it is that you want. You don't need to constantly be in doer mode and be always productive. And that has changed my life, because I am I used to be a believer that if I don't do something, that I will not get what I want. I always need to be the one that go outside of my way and go outside of my house to get what I want. But manifestation teaches you that no, you can actually be very still. You can reside in like the stillness and find inner peace within yourself, and things can come to you. And I think that is so freeing, particularly, in this very hyper productivist world. And for women, when we are taught that if we want anything done, we need to go after it all the time. And we don't believe that things can rearrange around us and actually be delivered. And now I have to believe it, because this has been my life for the last year or two. Like now there is no way for me to not believe it, because it actually works. Sorry guys, it does work. It does work.
I know all the control freaks, and listen, I'm team control freak all the way. Like that has been an issue for me forever. It's something I've had to consciously work on. And from that position of being a person with control issues, I can sit here and I can honestly tell you that I would guilt trip myself for never doing enough, even when I did enough. Even when I got 25 things done in a day, I would lay my head down at night and be like, I should have gotten 30 things done today. And it was just this endless cycle of torture and poor belief in myself, and, just like freaking out over things that I literally, like, I was doing the absolute max and still feeling like it wasn't enough. And when you live that way, and when you're always in that deregulated nervous system state where like it's a hedonic treadmill, like that you never get off of because you're never doing enough, you're always moving the goalpost. And so it's so antithetical to all of a sudden like bring these spiritual beliefs in where the core of them is letting go. And that's not to say that you aren't supposed to be doing anything to make your dreams move towards you, but it is to
Absolutely.
teach us that that like needy energy, that like chasing energy is repellent and can sometimes send your goals, push your goals away. Because whenever there's people involved in your goals, which is everybody's goals, right? Like we're in a
Mm-hmm.
very interactive society,
Mm-hmm.
everybody else feels that chasing energy from you, and it serves as a repellent. Even when it's like kind of subconscious, people feel it and they're like, it's too much, you're too pushy. Nobody likes a pushy person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a lack of trust in yourself and in the world, you know. I
Yes.
so relate to what you're saying. Sometimes, not sometimes, every time I get up and I do my to-do list and I put everything on there. Like I believe in myself. I believe I can do everything. And like you said, at the end of the day, even if I have done every single thing of my very, uh, very, busy to-do list, I would still feel like that means that I could have done more. That means that I could have added one, two, three more things, never feeling fully satisfied. Even if I was super ambitious with my to-do list things, I put everything in there and I would feel this sense of, okay, have I doing it? Have I done enough? And it's something that I can totally relate to. And for me, it's symptomatic of not trusting myself, not loving myself enough, and not trusting the world to also rearrange itself around you and people to help you as well, people to see you, to help you. And no, I totally relate. And once I got into manifestation and the mindset work and meditation as well, it forced me to sit down and be still, which was the hardest thing for me to do, to stop doing while still believing that things can happen. Without my input, things can happen positively for me. And that was for me the hardest lesson to accept. But like I said, I went full on. I said, you know what? I'm going to try to put my logical mind aside. If you say to do this, I will do this and I will trust it 100%. And yeah, it is correct, but it is extremely hard to do from like the control freak of us all. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a continued practice. So if anyone's listening to this and they're like, oh, no,
Absolutely.
I can't relinquish control, or sometimes you feel like you can, but only if it's after some kind of like deep, intensive workshop or meditation, like just for everyone to understand, this is a practice, and the word practice is used because it requires repetition. This is a thing that
Yeah.
like I have to sit down and do every single day. And I try to just make it part of my morning routine to get my mind right first thing in the morning and to go out into life with this particular point of view. But like, if I don't do it every day, I will forget and I will slip back into my old ways.
But what's great is I can see when I slip back in my old ways now, which I couldn't pinpoint before. I couldn't even see that I was such a control freak up until I sat down. I actually forced myself to sit down. I was like, wait, have I been this way the whole time? Yes. Yes, you were. Yes, you were forcing it. You were, you were extremely control freak. Like you say, it's a practice. And over time, you will be able to notice within yourself once when you are being a control freak or when you are actually letting go. And I think that it should be, I understand that the goal is always to let go, but sometimes it can be stressful for someone to hear, oh, you have to let go, you have to let go, you have to let go to get it. Because it's like, well, what to let go? How do you let go? Like what does that even mean to let go? Like, what do you mean? Do I stop thinking about it? And sometimes it can even bring more anxiety and more stress. I remember when I was listening to Neville Goddard, living in the end state, I was like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean living in the end state? And it would bring me even more anxiety, right? To not understanding and not being able to let go. So like you say, it's a practice and it takes time and it's okay. The goal is to feel inner peace, whatever that looks like for you at that very moment, and, not beat yourself up. That's what for me, it's loving yourself more and not beating yourself up because you're overthinking, because you're not proud of yourself, because you feel like you've done too much or too little. you have to look at yourself through the lens of really loving yourself no matter what. Even the days that you are overthinking, that you are being a control freak, it's okay, because it's a path and it's a practice. As long as the simple fact that you want to be better, to have a better life, to be more at peace, that's it. The simple desire of wanting peace and fulfillment, that means that the destination is already in the GPS. That's my favorite metaphor. That means that you've already put the destination in the GPS and you are on your way. And yes, today you will overthink because you've been overthinking for the last 20 years. You expect your brain to just change overnight. No, it won't. But to simply have the goal of, I just want peace and fulfillment, no matter what you're doing today, you are already on the way and you are already a little bit more self-aware every single day. So it's okay to go back into a whole habit. It's normal. Your brain is a muscle. You've been training it this way. But yeah, always look at yourself through the lens of self-love. It's very, very important when you manifest.
How do you let go?
Oh my God, how do I let go? How do I let go? Do I? No, I do. I'm much better at letting go. Journaling helps me a lot. Scripting helps me a lot because now I'm realizing that I'm so much more honest with my journaling. And when I see that something is ruminating in my mind, I write it down and I write down, I'm writing this down to let it go. I'm writing this down to let it go. And I think that being present, and where meditation has helped me a lot, is becoming an observer of my own thoughts and being able to notice, oh, you said you would let that go, but it's still very much present in your mind, and forcing myself to always be an observer of my thoughts. And that's the practice of meditation, right? To always take a back seat and observe your thoughts, observe your thoughts. And meditation has helped me a lot. Journaling, get it out of your system. And also, by any means necessary, sing, dance, like movement is so useful to let go, because you are able to get it out of your system. So journaling, dancing, meditating, singing, screaming, talking out loud helps me a lot to let go. Thoughts are energy stores that are stored in your body. Find a way to get it out by any means necessary. It does not need to be this cutesy journaling today. I'm thinking it can be screaming, can be dancing, can be whatever you feel. Your body will tell you what it needs. Does it need to move? Does it need to scream? And that's also a tool to let go, because let go is also physically getting it out of your body. But again, always go back to self-love and being gentle with yourself. Do not beat yourself up because you cannot let go, right? It's part of the journey. It's part of the practice. But find what works for you, basically. It can be screaming, dancing, journaling, meditation. Yeah.
I want to highlight the importance of the non-judgmental piece, is that when someone is new at this and they're trying to find a way to, I guess we can call it purging or whatever, getting it out, whether it's physical or written or screaming or dancing, like the purge aspect of it. But what you said is so important about not judging yourself for being unable to let go, but just continuing to try it and to be non-judgmental about it and to believe in yourself and your ability to let go, even if it doesn't look like what you were envisioning necessarily.
Absolutely. And I'm saying this because it was very much me. At first, I thought I was doing everything wrong. I thought I was not doing it wrong. When I first started to listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, all of that, I changed my TikTok algorithm to just manifestation, and I thought I was doing everything wrong, and I would beat myself up and be mad at myself and be mad at the universe, because I'm like, well, I let go today. Why don't I have whatever it is that I want? Oh my God, I had another panic attack, or I was anxious again about whether if this, that, and the third would happen. It happened to me, and I think it's normal. It's part of the journey, because you are trying to rewire your brain. Your brain is a muscle, and you've been training it a certain way. I've been a control freak and anxious person my whole life. Of course, the moment that I'm trying to change my identity, my old self would be like, wait, we're not used to that. Don't let go. We've never let go before. We've hold on very tightly. What are you trying to do? So, of course, it is part of the journey and the practice. And then as you go along, you realize that you are already everything that you need to be. We're not trying to fix you or to change you. That's why I try to be really careful in the words that I'm using. I don't want you to change yourself. I want you to become yourself, to become more of yourself. And I am closer to who I actually am now than who I was when I was a control freak. That's not actually who I am. You know what I mean? I'm becoming more of myself. You are constantly becoming more of yourself. I don't like I don't like to tell people to change who you are and change this and then this, that, and the third. I think that we need to be very careful when it comes to the words that we are using, but you are already whole. You are already everything that you need to be. You have within yourself everything that you need to become whatever version of you that you wish to become, to peel off the layer of yourself, right? And I think that's what you need to understand. You cannot do anything wrong in manifestation. You can never take the wrong turn. Again, going back to the GPS metaphor, when you put an address in a GPS, whether you go left or right, or whether you stop or you do a U-turn, worst case scenario, you are being rerouted and the estimated time of arrival will change, but you will still reach a destination. You are forever in motion. An object in motion stays in motion, right? And it's important for you to understand that where you are right now, whatever you are doing right now, you are whole. You're not broken and we're trying to fix you and trying to change you. It's very important for me to remind people that you're not doing anything wrong. You cannot do anything wrong. That is a capitalistic Western concept in manifestation, and you are already whole. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I really like how you articulated it. And I thought it was so funny. I think anybody that studies any kind of like psychology 101, or if they're familiar with like Carl Jung's work, it's the ego that keeps us resistant to not wanting to do this. It's when you try to let go and your ego's like, no, no, no. And it's so funny to think about what you were saying. Oh, didn't I let go enough? Does that sound like you're letting go? And you're like, I let go. Why isn't it happening?
Yesterday between 2 and 2:30, I made my duty to let go for 30 minutes. So why now it's 5 p.m. I don't have it? Like, please, universe, get yourself together. I listened to, I listened to everything. I listened to everyone and they say to let go and I let go. I feel like I let go. Doesn't that look like I let go? Look at me right now. I feel pretty chill, and it was so me, at first with meditation, and I needed a step by step. What do I need to do? What do I need to do now? What's the first step? What's the second step? And to this day, people, they will ask for a step by step. And I'm like, you don't need to do anything more. I always say, don't do more, think differently or feel differently. It's not about your way of being, not your way of doing. And that's what I got wrong. I thought I had to do everything differently. I have to do this every morning and visualize for 15 minutes. Then I have to meditate for 5 minutes. And then I have to journal. I have to do more and add more things to do. But it's not about what you do. It's never about what you do. It's about who you are. And that's the path of manifestation. And that's when you start to realize that manifestation is not really about anything material. I feel like the entrance, people go to manifestation because they want something material. They want a house, a relationship, or more money. But as you study manifestation, you realize that it is never about what you do, and it's never about this material stuff. This is a simulation. It's the last domino that falls. It's actually about who you are. It's actually about who you want to be. It's about your actions more than, your intention, sorry, not your action, but your intention, rather than your action. And for me, that's the most beautiful part of meditation, of manifestation. That's the big 180 for me. Was to realize that, it's not about doing more. It's not about following a step-by-step guide. It's about who am I, basically. Who am I? The big question of who am I? And it's the hardest question, but also the easiest question to answer, in my opinion. Yeah.
We talked a little bit about some of your tools like journaling and meditation, and you mentioned Neville Goddard and Joe Dispenza. Are there any other teachers or tools that you like to implement? What would you say if you had to create like a manifestation starter kit for somebody? What would be in your kit?
That's a great question. What would be my starter kit for manifestation? I would definitely add dancing, because I think that a lot of it is energy that needs to get out of your body. You need to get it out one way or another. So my starter kit would definitely involve a lot of movement. Doesn't need to be good dancing, but movement. Just shake it off, basically. Joseph Murphy, I love his book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. It has completely changed my perspective of this world. I don't know if it's a technique, but what has helped me a lot was to remind myself of who I am, going back to who I am. But throughout the day, we talk about wavering and doubting, and sometimes how wavering, quote unquote, will delay you having what you want. But what I do during the day, I remind myself of where I'm going, of my destination, right? I remind myself of who is it that I am becoming. No matter what it is that I see in this 3D world, I'm reminding myself, this is who I want to be. And if this is who I want to be, then this is who I am. I know it sounds very woo-woo, but if I want to be a certain person, then I already am that person, because again, you are already whole. You already are the person who has the relationship, the job, the house. It's already within you. So I call it reminder. And throughout the day, I try to do less technique, because I was a little technique obsessed. I was a little like, okay, I need to do everything every day. And then I was like, okay, chill out. We're just going to do some visualization before going to bed. We are going to set our intentions in the morning. First thing in the morning, I say gratitude. I'm grateful. As soon as I become conscious, I'm like, thank you for yesterday. Thank you for today. I'm grateful. And I say out loud 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I try to go about my day and actually enjoy life, which was the hardest part for me, to actually enjoy and not being focused on visualizing every second and visualizing the perfect house and the perfect job. That's what I used to do, being very technique obsessed. And I'm trying to just enjoy and remind myself of who I am and who I want to be. And I can feel my posture change. I can feel my energy. I can feel my breathing changing as well. So dancing, remind yourself of who you are. EFT tapping and breath work, because I realized that I was breathing wrong my whole life. But yeah, that would be my key techniques.
That's perfect. When people say they talk about running into blocks, how would you define what is a block and how do we overcome that? Because people, as you mentioned, will be like, I did this, I'm letting go, I'm doing all the things, and you're still running into a block. What is the way to look at that?
I think a block is just your brain trying to protect you, or your old identity trying to reach back and to keep you safe. Because as soon as you start implementing manifestation, if you've never done it before, it's like giving a new script to your brain. It's giving a new way of being, giving a new way of living. And immediately your brain is like, hold on. No, I don't like that. So blocks are often very self-imposed, and it's okay. Again, be gentle with yourself. Your brain is your best friend. Sometimes can be your worst enemy, but your brain is always trying to protect you, and you've been training it a certain way your whole life. And of course, when you change the script, when you throw your brain into a new environment, your brain is like, wait, I'm not used to that. Is that safe? I've never been there. I've never been in peace and fulfillment and breathing and meditation. What is all that breathing all of a sudden? You've never breathed from your diaphragm. What is this? So I think that it's a way for your brain to be like, let's keep doing what we know. Let's keep doing what we think is safe. And I'd say gentle your way through it. Acknowledge that, okay, there is a block there. Try to identify, clarify exactly where is the block coming from. Is it because you don't feel that you're capable? You don't feel like you deserve it? You don't know if it will work out. And that has a root, right? That has a root in your childhood, in what you've heard, what you've been taught. try to be as clear as you can and acknowledge it. Acknowledge the root of the block and then breathe your way through it. Don't beat yourself up because you have a block. Again, it is normal. Acknowledge, you say thank you, be grateful for it. Say, okay, I see it. You try to keep me safe, but actually I want something else and something better. And I believe that this is even safer and this is even better for me, because again, it's all about your belief. Your block is a direct response of one of your beliefs. You're blocking your success because you don't believe that you are actually capable. Okay, so what happened if you actually start believing that you are capable? The block will obviously disappear. There will be no need for that block, right? So every block that you are experiencing is a way to protect you and is a direct response and consequences of your identity and your belief. So go to the root of that. Try to identify what belief are you still holding about yourself and change that, and you will see that immediately the block will evaporate because there will be no identity, no belief to react to, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. I think one of the most common things that people want out of manifestation and try to go for is manifesting money. Like, we all want to have more money. What do you think some of the most common blocks are that have to do with identity and beliefs around money that keep people stuck?
When it comes to money, people, it's either money or relationship, money, relationship. I think that unfortunately the people want more money often because they feel like they don't have enough. And if the identity of lack is the root of your manifestation, then I don't know about, it's not the best way to want to manifest money. That's why I understand that people want more money. I get it. I also have the bills and I also see the groceries. I understand, but why do you want the money? What it is that what will the money provide to you? And I want you to dig deeper than, my life will be better. No, tell me exactly how will you feel when you will have more money? And I want you to I want you to fully believe that you will have it. What if I tell you, okay, tomorrow you will have it? Why do you want that money? To feel safer, to feel seen, to feel admired. And there is no wrong answer. There is no good or bad answer. You want more money to flex on everyone. Okay, but be honest. Why do you want the money? Because money is all around you. You will have it. If you've never lacked before, if you had money to this point, you will have money in the future. There will be no, but why do you want that money? Be honest with yourself. What are you actually looking for? For a feeling of safety, for a feeling of being admired, being seen, to provide for your family, and because for me, that is so much more important than I just want more money to make my life easier. If money was actually the solution, we would have way more happy people in this world. We wouldn't hear all those stories of people being absolutely miserable with money. So, and I want people to be happy and fulfilled long term. I don't want you to be miserable with $1 million in your bank account. What's the point? I don't want you to reach the destination of having $1 million in your bank account and then being like, what was the point? I don't want you to quest this material stuff. Same for a house. People want a bigger house and more bags. Countless of people will tell you, I have the bags, I have the mansion, but I still feel miserable. I still feel horrible because for me, it really shouldn't be the end goal. It will be a consequence. I promise you. Once you do the identity shifting work, you will have the money and the car. The material world is just a simulation. But yeah, go at the root at what it is that you actually want. And for me, it's a deeper conversation. It's a way more interesting and way more life-changing, discussion, because you get the money, but what will you do with it? Who will you be when you have that money? Yeah.
I'm so glad you framed it that way, because it's about the feeling that you're going to have and the identity that comes with it. And I think it's more important for people not to just blindly try to manifest money, but manifest what it is that's going to get you that money that maybe feels more aligned with like your purpose. Because I spent over a decade working at the highest end car dealership. Like, think of the most expensive car in the world, and that's the dealership that I worked at. And so I was meeting multi millionaires every shift. And the amount of people that I met who were like nasty and miserable and in a bad mood and rude to staff and clearly unhappy in a way that didn't necessarily seem circumstantial. It just seemed like a through line of their existence. They were just like shitty people, to put it that way.
This is part
And
of their
so,
chromosome at this point. It is embedded in their
yes.
soul. Yeah.
Yes. And these people had more money than God. And it's like, you have to understand that that's not going to be the thing that resolves if you feel shitty. Because again, back to that like hedonic treadmill, we as human beings are designed to adapt to our circumstances. So that means you're going to adapt, like you're going to get the money, you're going to get the million in the bank account. You're just going to adapt to it and you're going to be right back to where you started, because wherever you go, there you are. So if you're not working on the feelings and the purpose behind the money and what feeling it's supposed to get you, then having it is, you're going to wake up and be like, oh no, I thought this would fix everything. And it won't. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, well, I thought it was going to fix everything.
Absolutely. And it's, I mean, I understand. We all think, we all brainwashed to believe that you need the house, the car, the relationship and the money. But actually it is not, I promise you, you think you want money, but you want something deeper than that. And this is a conversation that is for me so much more interesting once I get into that with people that I work with. I'm like, it's great to want money. If at this point you had money, I promise you will have money. You will not be in a state of lack. If you were able to get the money for today and for your bills, money will come to you. It's the easiest thing it is all around, right? But it's so much more interesting and life-changing when you go into the why you want it. Who are you when you have it? And because you're trying to force the universe, again, you're trying to control the universe because you're telling the universe, I will only accept reward and happiness in the form of money. But there are countless ways that the universe can bless you and reward you. If you say, I want to feel safe, I want to feel seen, I want to feel loved, I want to feel secure, there are millions of ways for you to feel that, not just through a 1 million, dollars, euro, whatever, check. There are so many other ways that the universe can surprise you and bless you. I understand that you want the money, but the feeling of safety, the feeling of feeling loved and having the choice and possibilities and being able to be there for your family. There's so many different ways that the universe can bring that to you that you cannot even begin to imagine, because again, we cannot really envision the future. Everything that you think, most of the time you're remembering your past, or you are repackaging your past, right? You cannot even begin to imagine how the universe can bless you and make you feel peace and fulfillment. And going after money, again, I understand the instinct, but I really advise people to dig deeper. What it is that you want, and be certain that you will get the money. You will get it. But it's so much more interesting to figure out who you want to be, what you want to be with that money, basically, which is just the material manifestation of your identity and your belief,
Do you believe in quantum leaps?
It was the last. Okay, so that's interesting because that was my limit. I was like, you know what? I remember seeing a TikTok of a girl. I think she just had finished if she was a student from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and she had a TikTok. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. She was like, oh, I'm on this plane, but people don't know that I'm about to quantum leap. And I was like, girl, okay, like I remember that was my limit, being like, I believe everything, but that quantum leap stuff, okay, girl, okay, like that's where I draw the line, because I could not truly understand what she was talking about. I thought that it was very almost extraterrestrial, of going into another dimension and all of that. And I was like, I'll take the Neville Goddard, but yeah, exactly. That's when we stop. I found my people, and I think that's when you go, girl. You go and leap as much as you want in the plane. I'll stay there. I'll keep the bags. It's okay. But yeah, actually, when you dive into it and when it is explained to you in a different way, that it's not necessarily, it's all about identity again. It's all about the identity that you are embodying and that you can enter. But that's the thing. I am on the other side, and I will use the same word, the same wording that they use. And I know that people will think I'm crazy. I promise you that I used to be as skeptical, but it's all about the identity and walking into this reality from a different identity and different belief. So I do believe in it now. Took me a while. I had to learn about it. I had to read about it because I was like, girl, what or is it true? Tell me what it is and I will take it. I will take it and I will join you there. But now I believe in it because it makes sense. And there's something beautiful about, again, being the source of the reality that you are living in, and understanding that you actually have the power. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that empowering to choose the reality that you want to live in, to choose the glasses that you want to put on every single day and look at the world through new glasses every day of your life? And that's, for me, yeah, that's when it clicked. I was like, you're not crazy. I just needed a time, but you're not crazy. I get it. No, I get it. I get it.
I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks. That's one of the teachers that I like, that I'll just like throw on a little 15-minute YouTube video in the morning sometimes. And the one I was listening to this morning actually was talking about, a man in the audience was asking about quantum leaps, and their take on it was, yeah, it could in theory happen. However, most likely if you're experiencing what feels like a quantum leap, it just means you were vibrationally closer to your goal than you thought. And there's this really wonderful, I guess it's like an illustration or whatever. And with my creative friends and people in like a creative entrepreneurial space, I always like to reference this illustration where it's a man digging in a cave and he doesn't know it, but he's like an inch away from hitting gold. There's like just an inch of dirt right there, and he's chiseling. He's about to give up and turn around, and he is like this close to his goal. And I like to always think about that as that like perseverance piece of it, because none of this is done in a vacuum. All of this has to be supported with work and intention and, putting out things that are actually in alignment with your goals. We're not sitting here talking about sit on a couch and meditate and visualize your dream life and don't have the action piece to back it up. Like, that is so important. I need people to understand that. But it's to make sure that you're doing the work in concert with working on your self-beliefs and your identity, that this is all going to happen, and persevering and being patient and understanding that, like, just because you're running into roadblocks or if it's not on the timeline that you think it's on doesn't mean that it's not progressing towards that idea of like the identity that you want.
Yeah, I mean, you said so many amazing things, and I had so many ideas, and I'm going to try to like condense it. First of all, I love that image of giving up one, just before hitting goal, and it is with the persistent aspect. I love that image because it can be so relatable for someone who's trying manifestation. It was like, I've been doing the letting go, I've been doing the meditation, I've been doing the visualization, but why don't I have the 1 million yet? Because again, you're being focused on what you do and not who you are. Again, your brain responds to your belief, and your beliefs are, let's just take an example, right? If I have the belief that nothing ever works out for me, deep inside, I'm like, it does not work out. I'm not a lucky girl. I can do all the techniques. The moment that I experience a setback, I will interpret that as proof that, see, well, it didn't work for me. So that it proves that it does not work out. But it's because I have that belief, and my brain, again, being my best friend, is looking and scanning around me to reassure me, to prove me right. Your brain is constantly trying to prove you right. If you, on the other hand, you have the belief that everything always works out for me, no matter what this word is saying, I'm good, I'm lucky, I'm a lucky girl, you will experience the exact same setback as I have or had, and you'll be like, that does not concern me. I don't care, because I know that it will work out for me, right? And guess who will give up right before hitting gold? Me. Because I will interpret that as a proof to reinforce what I believe, my own belief of it never works out for me. So of course it does not work out for me. So the root of it all is not what you do. And again, we will do the same thing. You will do the visualization. I will do the visualization, the meditation. We will do the same, but we are not being the same. And our being is directly impacting our 3D world, where because you believe that it always works out for you, no matter what's happening, you will persist because you believe it works out. I don't care what's happening around me. I'm a lucky girl. But me, on the other hand, if I don't believe that I'm a lucky girl, every single time I will have a setback, I will take it as a proof and evidence of my belief. So when it comes to persistence, it's about persisting in your belief. Don't just persist in doing the same thing over and over again. There are some practice that I stopped doing because I thought, I realized that I was doing a little too much. But I do persist in the identity, and I change the identity, my belief. I believe that things are always working out for me. I choose to believe that I'm someone, I follow through, I push through, I am successful, I can do everything that I set my mind to. And it's not about I'm rich, I have money. No, it's about who I am, who I believe I am. And when it comes to quantum leap, one last thing, and then I'm going to finish my monologue. But I think for me, quantum leaping is that moment where, for example, I want to do public speaking, right? That's something that I really want to do. And there are moments where I cannot explain to you. I can see it. I can feel it. I can feel myself in front of the crowd and talking. And I don't know how to explain. It's very, and for me, that's the quantum leap. It's when it feels so real that I feel in the room. I literally feel in the room. And that's for me the closest that I can kind of explain and illustrate quantum leap. It's that moment where, like you say, where you vibrate in such alignment with the version of you that you want to be. And yeah, I do experience it in that way. And it's quite magical. Yeah.
What you were describing there too, the belief that things do always work out for me or things don't always work out for me, and then finding proof of that is what is scientifically referred to as confirmation bias. So now kind of circling back to the beginning of the conversation where you and I were both like, listen, we're very cerebral, logical people. This sounds like insanity. And then coming to understand that a lot of this mindset stuff is actually tied into science. Talk to me about what you've discovered that logically makes sense in this work.
And it's so interesting because I went deep into the woo-woo, and it's only afterwards that I discovered the science of it. I did not start by looking for scientific evidence. I first went full on woo-woo, and then I was like, wait, it does make sense. There is some science. So, like you said, confirmation bias, right? Your brain, the fact that it works for you or against you. Like your brain is always scanning your reality to prove you right. And I want people to really understand that it's always trying to reinforce what you already believe in. If you believe, oh my God, I'm behind, I'm stupid, I can do it, it will just find evidence of that. Your reality is simply reinforcing what you believe inside. That's confirmation bias. So that means in manifestation term, that means that you can kind of intentionally train your body and your brain to collect proof. And that's why I say to people, collect all the wins. Write down every single time you have a small win, every single time you're showing courage, the degree that you were fighting for your life in university to get the degree. Well, you have that. It's a win. You get that. Or, if you move to a new city, if all the little wins, you need to train your brain to collect proof of your belief. And that's something that your brain is like a muscle. You need to train it over and over and over again. So there's that really changed my perception. Because I just have to believe different. I can do that. Something that really also, because my brain is very hectic. I have a theater in my brain. So visualization is very easy for me. I visualize a lot. And you realize that when you read the science of it, visualization is like a rehearsal. You are rehearsing being the person who already is living that life. So your brain is activating the same network as when you actually have the thing. When you visualize yourself on stage, for example, you are activating the similar network, not exactly identical, but definitely similar as when you will be on stage. And so it's rehearsal. It's training your body and your brain of, okay, I am that person. And it's very important to get into your body when you are visualizing, because does it feel safe? Does it feel anxious? How do you feel when you see the amount of money in your bank account, when you feel yourself in the relationship? Because you need to feel safe. You need to train your brain and your body to feel safe. And that's why visualization is so powerful, because it is a rehearsing tool. It's a rehearsal. So when I heard that about visualization, I was like, okay, I see what you mean. It's training, but I don't just need to see myself on stage. I need to feel safe and confident and happy and fulfilled and at peace, not just feeling hectic and fearful, basically. So, and I would say that's a confirmation bias. Also what we call predictive brain, the fact that our brain never just fully observe reality. It's always predicting reality. Your brain is always asking, why do I expect to happen? Even when you walk outside, right? Why do I expect that car to do? What do I expect that person to do? It's always, you don't even realize it, right? It's always expecting, what do I expect to happen? And then it will interpret the things based on the meaning that you are assigning to it. So again, if you say nothing works out for me, you will interpret every setback as the proof. Oh, well, see, I told you nothing works out for me. So the fact that your belief helps your brain kind of predict reality. So believe differently and you will live differently. Your reality will change. Yeah, drastically.
I would be remiss not to ask, because I think a lot of people, when they dive into this, have the desire to manifest not just love, but maybe even sometimes a specific person to love. Are there any stipulations with that, or what are your thoughts on trying to manifest a specific person?
That's the only thing that I'm like, I don't know. I believe in it. I believe that it's true because you have countless of success story. But again, I don't. If I'm being honest, sometimes I'm annoyed that people want to manifest a specific person that used to be in their life. I understand, but sometimes I'm like, or you can have that or better. You can always have that or better. You know, it's just, and also it always goes back to you, to your self-love and your belief. It is possible, and there are a lot of people who are proving it right. But again, what do you want from, what are you actually looking for in that specific person? And if you remove them from the equation, what it is that you want, what type of relationship that you want, because again, the universe can bless you in so many different ways. You think, because again, going back to what I said, you think that you can get that from that specific relationship, but you have like blinders on, like, you know, the horses, and maybe you're missing the fact that you can get even better slightly on the left or slightly on the right. So you're right. So for me, when I hear manifestation SP, I understand. I get it. It works, but I always go back to, what do you want out of a relationship? Not just this relationship, not just this person. What do you want out of a relationship? And what does that say about you, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to self-love? And you can have anything that you want. I believe in also manifesting celebrity SPs. Of course, it's possible. But are you doing that out of lack, out of fear, out of what does that person mean in your reality, in your existence? Why that person exactly? Are you trying to change them? Are you trying to change them to save them? Do you want something from them that you cannot give to yourself? It always goes back to you. So stop focusing about this, that, and the third. You are phenomenal. Of course, they want to be with you. No doubt about that. What does that mean about you? What does that mean about your love relationship to yourself? So I do believe in it, but I always want to dig deeper into what it is that you want in a relationship, honestly.
Yeah, and I think it could open people up to the possibility of what I like to do. And I borrowed this from a friend is to ask the creator if something is meant for me, either bless it or block it. And so if a relationship is just not panning out with the person that you think you want it to pan out with, reframe that as potentially a protective block from your higher power of that's not meant for you. Something even greater is meant for you. So examine
And
that and see if
that's such
maybe
an
that's the
important
way.
belief. The fact that if that does not work for me, then there's something better. Because that's also something that I receive people being like, oh, I applied for that dream job and it didn't work out. Then say thank you. You just dodged a bullet. Everything that is happening on the path is always a gift. It's always, you should always be grateful. When you say, no, I remember when I was looking for a job, I made it to countless of end stage, the last round, and then I didn't get it. But I was like, well, thank you. I'm grateful because you know that the dream job and the dream relationship, you set your direction already. So if it's not that one, then there's something better. And you have to say thank you every single time. Be grateful every single time. If that relationship does not pan out, then it means that there's something better. And that it must be part of your new set of beliefs. Believing that no matter what's happening in this world, no matter where I get a no, it means that the universe has something better for me. And at the end of the day, it is true. I found the perfect job. I'm fully remote. It's great. I'm making, I'm my bills are paid. I'm sat. And looking back at all the other jobs that I interviewed for, they were not. I thought they were my dream job, but they were actually so much worse than what I have now, the freedom that I'm able to have now. So always be grateful for every block, for every redirection, every rejection, because rejection is a redirection. And going back to the SP, I understand that you want a specific person, but again, you are projecting on them an image you're projecting on them what you want, right? Try to first connect to your own self and what do you want out of a relationship? How do you love yourself? What type of relationship? What type of non-negotiable? Connect to that and remove the person from the equation, because again, it can be that person or it can be someone else. It can be that person or it can be countless, but it does not the who. At the end of the day, for me, the who does not truly matter. It can be that or your favorite, your neighbor or whatever. But the what should be non-negotiable. What do you want in a relationship? How do you want to feel loved? How do you want to feel appreciated? What is the non-negotiable? And then embody that person and it will take the shape of whatever, right? And it's because often SPs, it's always about manifesting an X. And I'm like, girl, okay, okay, great. But there's also, maybe there's better. So I'm always a little, that's the only part manifestation where I'm like, God, sometimes I wish, yeah, let's focus on something else. That's my only thing in manifestation. I don't know about that one. I know it works, but I'm always annoyed a little bit. I'm like, girl, someone else, Yeah. But yeah, that's me.
Is there something that you recently manifested? Can you share with us how you manifested it and what it was?
Yes. My coaching clients. I mean, because I want my coaching client in public speaking. Like I said, I had within the first 2 weeks of January, I already have a few public speaking opportunities, and coaching clients as well. And it's something that I set last year. Yeah. I said to myself, it's what I want to do now. I'm stepping into that part of my life where I do want to do coaching. I want to help people. I want to inspire people. I want to empower. That's what I want to do with my time. I want to do public speaking. It's nothing new. Like I said, I'm becoming more myself, and it's something that has always been, there. When I talked about it to my mom, she was like, obviously, like if I needed to know where you were, I just needed to do a 180. And if there was a group of people surrounded around another person, it was you. That's how I knew where you were. So yes, it makes sense, but it's something that I forgot. So now the work, I forgot my own self, right? And so the work is to go back to myself and to accept that this is who I am and becoming more of myself. And so I have manifested, coaching clients, and I cannot believe, it's just, I'm so grateful. Again, if it was even before putting it on my TikTok without saying anything, the public speaking as well. I've been asked to do workshops and public speaking this year, again, without no advertising. It's a friend of a friend who they thought about me, and I haven't talked to that person in a very long time. And they were like, no, I think that you can do that pretty well. So yeah, it's all about deciding. And again, like I say, reminding myself, this is who I want to be. I want to coach. I want to mentor. I want to do public speaking. I want to be on podcast. That is also something that is you help one of my manifestation come true. I want to use my voice more. And if I can help people in any way, and yeah, embodying that identity every single day, reminding myself, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. And look at me now. So yeah.
Well, what a beautiful and digestible and inspiring conversation we have had here today. Solène, if people want to work with you or learn more, where should they go?
Yes, so on TikTok mostly, Solène Vangout, that's my full name. You can reach out to me there, or my email address is contact@solenevangout.com. Feel free to reach out. It's something that I'm so honored to be able to do that. I cannot even explain how happy and truly fulfilled, like true fulfillment is really when I'm sitting down with people in general, but my friends as well. And we talk about mindset, and we go at the root of, what we talked about, the blocks, and how to improve your life, how to live a better life, how to get rid of the fear and the self-doubt and the anxiety, everything that I went through. Basically, it's like, I remember I was talking to someone, and she was like, when you realize that you have the music in you, you have to share it. And that's what happened to me, right? I realized that it actually works. I went through a transformation, and I'm still going through it, and it's a lifelong journey. But now I want everyone to experience the same thing, because it is possible. It is true. And I cannot keep it to just myself and my friend. My friends are kind of tired of me talking about manifestation at every dinner. So I have to share it with other people now. But I'm always so honored when I encourage people, when I help people. And to believe that my words matter is kind of crazy. To believe that people care and understand is kind of insane. But yeah, I'm really honored. So reach out to me on TikTok, Solène Vangout. I will be more than happy. I answer to all the DMs, even the most obscure ones. And yeah, that's where you can find me. And thank you for reaching out. It's just, yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot.
Of course. Well, right back at you. It means a lot that you've come to do the show. So thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you everybody for listening. Bye.